We often rush to finish, to resolve, to complete. But what if the beauty lies in the unfinished, the half-written poem, the half-sketched idea, the painting that lingers in a state of becoming? Welcome back to Walking the Quiet Path with me, Cate Field. This is day 8, unfinished. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, don't worry. It doesn't matter what order you watch them in, but I know that some of you do like to have things in the correct order and to work through each day. It's entirely up to you, because this is your time, your gentle space for creative reflection. It's my invitation to you to pause, to notice, and to connect with your inner creative voice. In this session, as always, we will explore today's theme with a short poem, a reflection, and some creative invitations. You take them at your own pace, and you let the process be soft and gentle and completely yours. So when you are ready, let's begin. There is a grace in the unfinished, I believe, in that half-thought, the pause, the brush hovering above the page. Not everything needs completion. Some things are meant to rest in that space before becoming. Not everything needs an ending. Some things are meant to pause, to breathe, to wait. Some ideas unfold slowly, living in the space between intention and realization. What does it feel like to let something remain unfinished, open, possible? Today, resist the urge to complete. Instead, explore the beauty of stopping before the end and let your work breathe. Let it be incomplete, but full of potential. Your creative invitations, painting or drawing, create a piece and leave it deliberately unfinished. Let the absent speak as much as the present. For writing, write a story or a poem that ends mid-thought, leaving space for the unknown. For sculpture or textile art, work on a piece and pause before it feels finished and notice what happens when you leave it as it is. In photography, capture a moment in transition, something half-formed in between states. For mixed media, layer and build a piece and then stop before it's finished. What does the unfinished suggest? And your sensory prompt. Start a simple action, a brushstroke, a stitch, a written sentence, and then stop. Pause. Observe what remains incomplete. How does it feel to leave it unfinished? Does it pull at you? Does it feel uncomfortable? Or does it feel like it belongs exactly as it is? And carry this sensation into your creative process today. So for this day 8, unfinished, I thought I would start a short story. This is something that I've been thinking about, this little short story. And I've started it. I'll read this bit to you and I'll kind of work through some of my thoughts. When Edie Carruthers turned 79, she decided it was far too late to regret anything and far too early to stop wondering what might still be possible. I have this idea of this lovely lady sitting in her armchair, looking like a lovely elderly grandmother. But I want her to be fiercely active. I want her to be wise and bold. And I want her to have had moments in her life, perhaps when she was in her early 20s or late teens, where she was politically and socially active. So that's kind of what
this story is about. And I want her to perhaps have some initial thoughts of regret, but then she has conversations with her teenage granddaughters and she realises that actually she has a bit of a legacy, but I'm not sure where it's going. And so it's definitely going to be unfinished. So I had this idea of her sitting in her favourite armchair. So sitting in her worn armchair. I like that idea, with a blanket. This is my book where I write all sorts of ideas down, thoughts that pop into my head, and a lot of them are completely unfinished, and then I will go back and edit them. Those of you who have watched my tutorials before will recognise this book. And I've put ideas in. Sometimes I type them out, and I mean, this one is definitely unfinished. It's the old bookshop. All I've got so far is old books breathe softly, letters curled in candlelight, compelling and still. And I've written the title. Definitely an unfinished piece. Other things, the creativity just flows. And so anyway, this book is full of ideas, some of which are finished and some aren't. But I'm going to be working on this story for the next few moments, and I'm going to give myself time to just let the story develop, and then I'm going to leave it unfinished, and then I will come back to it, maybe not for months. So I've written a couple of pages. I've just let the words flow, really. I'll read a little bit out to you. So, sitting in her warm armchair, a blanket draped over her knees, and her two granddaughters sprawled like puppies on the floor, she surveyed her life with the wry amusement of a woman who had once marched for causes she half remembered and had ended up filing legal paperwork for, but she no longer believed in. I was quite the spark, you know, she told them, sipping her tea. Marched on Parliament, wrote angry letters to editors, wore badges, waved banners. What happened? Asked Lily, the younger one, all wide-eyed in hope. Edie chuckled. Society happened, expectations happened, your great-grandmother happened, though Lord knows she meant well. I got married, of course I did, it was inevitable. So was the divorce. Honestly, you don't want to know. But of course, they did.
I really love writing, and I spend a lot of my time just playing around with some ideas, and it's okay that they're not finished. And this is the whole point of today's prompt, is to allow yourself to not finish something. So that story, it might stay in my head for months, and I might never finish it. And that's okay, because every time we work on something, we can develop our creative juices in a way. And so don't get too bogged down with things not being finished. I really hope you have enjoyed this time together, and that you have got ideas and thoughts, and that you are feeling very creative. If you haven't liked or subscribed or switched on your notifications, that would be good, because I'd hate you to miss one. And until next time, keep creating. Bye bye.